I know that lead is a metal. I know that it's toxic at a certain concentration or level of ingestion. I know that it was once a very popular item in household paints. I know that it's part of old copper plumbing in houses because of the soldering of the pipes with lead. When it gets into our drinking water, I know that it's been a problem from toys coming across overseas, and children's toys. Primarily, I think it's from the paint or something in them.
All I know is lead is a metal. It's found on the periodic table as Pb. It was assumed to be found in pencils, but it is not anymore. It is something that should not be on pipes, therefore not get into the water system because it can damage a lot of systems in the body. Therefore, Canada has now had a problem because there's been lead that's been found in pipelines. So we got a big problem with lead in Canada.
Okay, I think lead is a metal. It tends to be soft, I've heard, kind of, and it's used in like pencils. Yeah, that's about it.
Know that lead is a element. I think it's Au on the periodic table. And it's poisonous if you put it in water, so you shouldn't drink leady water.
I know that it's a metal. I know that if there's lead in paint, that it's bad for children. Other than that, I don't know too much about lead.
What do I know about lead? It's very heavy. To make bullets out of it, car batteries, make all kinds of things out of it. I don't believe it's recycled properly. Lead gets into your water systems, it gets into your plants, gets into the food system. It's a nasty thing, and lead is poisonous at a certain amount, and it's toxic. You don't want to eat it. You know, they call it lead poisoning for a reason.
Lead. It's a metal. It can be found throughout the Earth's crust and it is readily accessible. It exists in 3 oxidation states. The metal, its rarest form, organolead, its organic form, and the inorganic form. Lead is found in many everyday items. Most of lead is extracted for use in automotive batteries. Lead can be found in pipes that are used for plumbing, including bringing clean drinking water to homes. Most recently, lead was found above national safety guidelines for drinking water. A majority of the lead contamination came from old lead pipes. Lead can also be found in these products: circuit boards, dust, some soldering wires, dirt, radiation shielding, including that which is placed around medical imaging rooms and the protective drapes you wear during x-rays. Lead can also be found in PVC plastics as a stabilizer, ammunition, making those that handle ammunition regularly, such as armorers in police services and military, as well as hunters, at risk for lead poisoning. Lead can also be used as wheel balance weights and in other weights, such as those used in fishing. Lead can also be found in cigarette smoke and glazes of pottery and crystals. In the past, lead was commonly used in gasoline as an anti-knock agent, household paints, and the soldering of food cans. Lead exposure comes from oral ingestion, such as chewing, sucking, and swallowing lead products. We also breathe in lead fumes and small lead particles. 65% of our lead exposure comes from food, 20% from water we're drinking, and 15% from the air we breathe. Lead fumes are produced when lead is heated above 500 degrees Celsius, such as occurs when we are welding. This lead can condense into solid fume particles. Lead particles in the air can land on soil. Plants can take up lead from the soil through its roots. Lead can make its way into groundwater, and from there it has the potential to make its way into larger bodies of water. Lead can fall into bodies of water as well as onto leaves of vegetation. Contamination in and on plants can make its way into animals that consume them. Aquatic organisms living in lead-contaminated waters will also become contaminated with the lead. The lead can bioaccumulate and biomagnify through the food web. Lead that we are consuming in our waters comes from acidic water flowing through pipes, causing them to corrode, which causes lead from the pipes to be deposited into water. Lead was used in paints primarily before the 1960s. After the 1960s and until the 1990s, lead was used less in paints and was really only used in paints on the exterior of buildings. After the 1990s, lead was virtually never used in paints anymore. A majority of the danger of lead exposure from paints today comes from buildings that were built before the 1960s, especially if the paint is currently chipping or peeling. Small children that are still growing are especially susceptible to lead exposure. Because children are still growing, lead is more readily uptaken by them than as an adult would. Children are also less able to excrete lead. Lead can pass through placental barriers from mother to fetus. This can lead to the developmental defects and potentially cause miscarriages. Lead in males can cause a reduction in sperm count, quality, and mobility. Lead can be passed from mother to child through breast milk, as lead is mobilized from the skeleton, as the skeleton is used as a source of calcium during breastfeeding. Lead accumulates in bones, and because of continuous bone turnover, lead can be continuously released from our skeletons into the rest of our body. Our skeletal structure carries 90% or more of the lead in our bodies. Lead can remain in our bodies for over 25 years. Lead also is related to low skeletal growth. Lead is a neurotoxin. It can affect memory, learning, sensory and perception, as well as mood. Inorganic lead affects our neurons by breaking down our myelin sheath and blocking presynaptic receptors. Longer and faster acting neurons appear to be more affected. Wrist and ankle drop are a common symptom of lead poisoning. They are caused by peripheral nerve damage and paralysis. Lead can cause anemia by affecting heme formation and iron transport. Lead also damages and shortens the lifespan of red blood cells. Lead damages the kidneys. It can cause high blood pressure, which can cause heart complications. It can also cause uric acid buildup in the blood and gout. With sufficient lead exposure, one can experience renal failure. Lead could lead to increased risk of various cancers, including kidney, lung, and liver cancers. Lead in lakes can be taken up by aquatic organisms, including phytoplankton and zooplankton. Phyto and zooplankton produce oxygen, and when they are exposed to lead, their oxygen production will be reduced. The reduced production of oxygen can cause changes in global cycles, which can affect our climate.